Kings fans, we got some rumors tonight. And don't we love them? Because any rumor, we have to dissect it like it actually happened. We get worked up, we get stressed out, we're complaining to our friends, celebrating too soon, and then it doesn't happen. We go, why didn't it happen? Well, they're just rumors, but God, I love me some rumors this time of year. It's the night before the draft. Draft night eve. I'm in the command center. Because if anything goes down tonight, I will be live. I don't care if it's a 111 at 317 or 426 in the morning. I will be live. Morgan won't be live here with me because, excuse me, she is in San Francisco getting ready for a Valkyries Liberty game, which is actually at the same time as the NBA draft. But plenty of her coming up. We've got so much content with the draft, free agency trades, blah, blah, blah. So much content coming your way. Let's start with tonight, though. Because, of course, I'm just addicted to my phone this time of year. I'm online. I'm chatting with people about all the rumors flying around. And I check my email. Marc Stein dropped a new newsletter on his Substack. He and Jake Fisher combining on some reporting. The link is in the bio for the Substack. You should definitely check it out. But there's a lot of King stuff in it. You had some trade stuff that we'll get to. But let's lead with what he was talking about with free agency. As he's reporting that the Kings are being described as a likely leading suitor for veteran point guard Dennis Schroder, who was last with the Pistons. First thing that comes to mind with Dennis Schroder is stopgap. I should note this. Schroder is expected to command a deal that could start at $14.1 million, a mid-level. And barring a trade that otherwise addresses their need for a playmaker, the Kings are expected to be a prime contender to sign the 31-year-old away from the Pistons. So Dennis Schroder sounds like a strong possibility for the Kings come free agency. And trust me, I'm already ready for all the memes and jokes if it does happen. It's like, oh, wow, they had De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese, and now they have Dennis Schroder. I know. We know, everybody. We got it. You're going to make fun of our point guards until we have one that surpasses either one of those guys. And that could be a long time from now. Let's start with Dennis Schroder, though, who is a veteran. He's going to be 32 by the time the season starts. Played on 3 teams last year. It's crazy to think about his journey. Off to a red-hot start in Brooklyn. They traded him to Golden State. That was after D'Anthony Melton went down, and they needed another guy to handle the ball desperately with the Golden State Warriors. Well, the Warriors moved off of him at the deadline. They traded him to Utah. Utah waived him, and then he goes to Detroit, where I actually thought he had a really nice impact on the Pistons team. I thought it was a great pickup for them, and he had some really strong moments in the playoffs for them. It felt like at times a steadying force, right? Someone who plays with confidence and an edge. So there's definitely a lot to like about him, but I view him more as, hey, he's a great backup point guard, man. Spot starter. He has started in this league, and he's capable of starting. But I'm like, for a good team, he's probably coming off your bench. Well, Sacramento's in the spot right now where they don't have a point guard, as we've detailed. And after De'Aaron was traded, who were you turning to? Malik Monk for a stretch. It was definitely inconsistent there. It didn't feel like he should be a full-time point guard, right? Then you had, once he went down, DeMar's bringing up the ball, Zach LaVine, some Keon Ellis. Like, there's no real ideal situation for the Kings. So going into this offseason, there was no doubt about it that they were going to be searching for a point guard. But we've heard their names tied to maybe Trae Young in a trade. I never thought that was going to happen. Now, after they land Porzingis, you think, well, they're probably building a team that's going to be around Trae coming up here. So I imagine he is staying put. Some of the other names out there are Russell Westbrook, a veteran that, again, more of a rotation guy. You hear Schroeder's name, I just look at it for where the Kings are at. It's a stopgap. It's a veteran guy who can do the job. But what does that look like for this group? Is it better than what they had at the end of last year? Yeah. And so maybe that's like the thought process, a stopgap. It's like, well, if we're bringing, and by the way, I expect the Kings to be making some other trades here too coming up. I don't think they're just adding Schroeder potentially to go with Monk and LaVine and all these guys. That wouldn't make no sense. They got to figure out the balance of that. But I think maybe they go, oh, yeah, Schroeder, just having a point guard just going to make us better. He can get us organized. They'll get more out of LaVine, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's the thinking. I do think there are aspects of Schroeder's game that this Kings team just lacks. And once they lost De'Aaron, they missed a guy that had that speed. And Schroeder definitely is fast, right? He's got great speed, can play the pick and roll game. Not a very good three-point shooter. That's not ideal, so that's not great for spacing. But I do think he will push the pace, and that's what they want to do. They want to play fast. They want to get in the paint. I think he's going to help in that regard. I think defensively, as an on-ball point of attack defender, he's got a little dog in him, man. He gets chippy out there, and I think the Kings need someone with a little more of an edge, so that fits the mark there. 14.1 million seems like a lot to me, the full mid-level. And so I was going back, and look, I didn't spend an hour on this, but I was looking at mid-level guys the last couple of years in the league. Well, DeAnthony Melton got a mid-level deal with the Golden State Warriors before he went down. So he made it was like 12 something. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Gabe Vincent got the full mid-level from the Lakers. DiVincenzo got the full mid-level from the Knicks. And then Dennis Schroder actually had the full mid-level at one point for the Toronto Raptors a couple of years ago. So maybe that is kind of the going rate. When you start thinking about Sacramento too, if they go after and execute this move of Schroder, you got to think that like draft night, we get some sort of news about Devin Carter or Malik Monk. It feels like their names have been reported out there a lot. If you're looking to add another guard, like you have to balance this roster a little bit here. So, I mean, you think about the possibility of losing someone like Malik Monk and kind of what he's meant to this fan base. Like, it would hurt a little bit, but you have to move somebody, and he's got a deal that I think is pretty solid, and they might be able to get something pretty solid out of it. I'm interested to see kind of where they go from here. But Schroeder, to me, it's a stopgap. Like, what's it do for you? Well, to be fair, before I go deep dive on this, let's see what else they put on this roster. If you're just saying, hey, it's pretty much the same roster as last year, we had Schroeder. Well, yeah, you'll be kind of a mid team. Like, maybe you push for the play-in, maybe you're not good enough for the play-in, and we're going, oh, they got the 11th pick, and I think that would frustrate some fans because some fans are like, guys, the West is really good. It's hard to win. We're not competing. We're not going in the right direction. Maybe just tank, and we'll figure it out. And obviously, that's not a foolproof plan either. But then there's also a contingent of the fans that are like, I've seen so many losing seasons. Can I just like find ways to improve with what we have and go from there? But Schroeder definitely makes you good enough not to be bad, depending on what else you put on the team. And I like him as a player. I do think I really think he could help Sacramento. I'm just not sure like that's the ideal position for him at that point. Obviously, we'll dive way deeper into everything if it actually happens, but this is just a rumor. The next thing, the Kings sources say, according to Marc Stein and his Substack, are also being mentioned by rival execs and agents as a team that could trade into the lower half of the first round of Wednesday's draft. That's been out there a little bit, right? Multiple teams consulted Tuesday said they believe Sacramento has held talks aimed at setting up the acquisition of the number 24 selection from Oklahoma City. Sam Presti, Scott Perry know each other really well. Scott worked with Sam in Seattle before moving on and getting a promotion. I think he went to maybe Orlando. Anyway, they work together. They go way back. Although still hearing like trying to work out a trade with OKC, well, I'm instantly going, are we getting fleeced? Like, what are we trading for the 24th pick? I am interested to see what they're targeting. Like, who's the guy that they just love in the mid-20s that they want to get this pick, And maybe they're waiting to see if that player is going to be there before executing that trade. So that'll be really fascinating to watch. And then he also shared that the Kings have been signaling to teams that it is open to trade proposals across the roster. Not really a surprise there, right? Mentioning the Mar DeRozan, the Miami ties that have been rumored. But then he had a line out there about Devin Carter and Malik Monk. He says that the Kings are inviting offers for Malik and Devin. Very interesting here. And it seems like those names have been out there a lot. So do they already have a trade worked out? I don't know. And Malik, his contract's nice. And I think teams go, yeah, we need a guard play, pick and roll guy. We know all the things Malik does out there. It's a decent contract. Let's do it. And then Devin Carter as a young guy, I don't think teams are out on him, but I think teams are like, yeah, you was a 13th pick last year. We have a need. We'll try to give you a pick in the 20s for him. Is that worth it for Sacramento? I personally wouldn't mind keeping Devin. I'm not saying like, oh, he's untouchable, but Devin, I think, has a lot to give on the defensive side of the ball. And if they want to have a defensive personality and they want to establish that type of culture, I feel like he's the type of guy that you would want on the roster, but he may be one you have to sacrifice. Stein goes on to write that it might be worth filing away that Utah had showed interest in Devin Carter when the Jazz engaged the Kings on a Lowry Markkanen deal last year. So when those two sides were talking, then Markkanen got the contract extension. He can be traded now. Anyway, the Jazz hold the number 21 pick on Wednesday night, which is right in the range of the Kings' presumed trade ambitions. I don't know. Does that just kind of read to me that like Utah's trying to offer the number 21 pick for Devin Carter? I don't know. All I know is there's enough noise that the Kings want to be in the first round. There's enough noise that Devin Carter and Malik are out there that it should be on everybody's radar at this point. I feel like we're going to see some changes here, and there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the next day, could happen up into free agency. Usually by summer league, it quiets down. But I guess right before camp, we had that big trade with Minnesota and New York involving Cat, Randall, and DiVincenzo. Anyway, that's very latest with Kings rumors going around. Make sure to drop comments below. Make sure to turn on the notification so you know if I do go live at 1:30 in the morning. But let us know in the comments, like, how do you feel about the Schroder tie-in here? What do you think about possible trades? When you hear Malik Monk trade, what's that do to you inside? Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.